Chapter 4. Investor Lesson Number 4. What kind of world do you see? One of the most startling differences between my rich dad and poor dad was the kind of world they saw. My poor dad always saw a world of financial scarcity. That view was reflected when he said, "Do you think money grows on trees, or do you think I'm made of money, or I can't afford it?" When I spent time with my rich dad, I began to realize that he saw a completely different world. He could see a world of too much money. That view was reflected when he said, "Don't worry about money. If we do the right things, there will always be plenty of money. Don't let not having money be an excuse for not getting what you want." In 1973, during one of Rich Dad's lessons, he said, "There are only two kinds of money problems. One problem is not enough money. The other problem is too much money. Which type of money problem do you want?" In my classes on investing, I spend a lot of time on this subject. Most people come from families where the money problem was not enough money. Since money is only an idea, if your idea is that there is not enough money, then that is what your reality will be. One of the advantages I had, coming from two families, was that I could see both types of problems, and rest assured, both are problems. My poor dad always had problems of not enough money, and my rich dad always had problems of too much money. Rich Dad had a comment on that strange phenomenon. He said, "People who suddenly become rich by things such as inheritance, a big jackpot from Las Vegas, or the lottery suddenly become poor again because psychologically, all they know is a world of not enough money. So they lose all their suddenly found wealth and go back to the only world of money they know, a world of not enough money." One of my personal struggles was shaking the idea that the world was a world of not enough money. From 1973 on, Rich Dad had me become very aware of my thoughts when it came to the subjects of money, working, and becoming rich. Rich Dad truly believed that poor people remained poor simply because that was the only world they knew. Rich Dad would say, "Whatever your reality is about money inside of you is the reality of money outside of you. You cannot change your outside reality until you first change your inside reality about money." Rich Dad connected what he saw as some of the causes of scarcity to the effect it has on people's attitudes. The more security you need, the more scarcity there is in your life. The more competitive you are, the more scarcity there is in your life. That is why people compete for jobs and promotions at work and compete for grades in school. People who are creative, cooperative, and have good financial and business skills often have lives of increasing financial abundance. I could see these differences in attitudes between my two dads. My real dad always encouraged me to play it safe and seek security. My rich dad encouraged me to develop skills and be creative. The second half of this book is about how to take your creative ideas and create a world of abundance rather than a world of scarcity. During our discussions about scarcity, Rich Dad would take a coin out of his pocket and say, "When a person says, 'I can't afford it,' that person sees only one side of the coin. The moment you say, 'How can I afford it?' you begin to see the other side. The problem is that even when people see the other side, they see it with only their eyes. That is why poor people see rich people doing what rich people do on the surface, but they fail to see what rich people are doing inside their minds. If you want to see the other side of the coin, you have to see what is going on inside a very rich person's mind." The second half of this book is about what goes on in a rich person's mind. I asked Rich Dad why lottery winners usually go broke. His reply was, "A person who suddenly comes into a lot of money and goes broke because they still see only one side of the coin. In other words, they handle the money in the same way they always did, which is the reason they were poor or struggled in the first place. They see only a world of not enough money. The safest thing that person can do is just put money in the bank and live off the interest only." People who can see the other side of the coin would take that money and multiply it rapidly and safely. They can do that because they see the other side of the coin where there is a world of too much money. They use their money to get to the other side faster while everyone else uses money to become poorer faster. In the late 1980s, after Rich Dad retired completely and turned his empire over to Mike, he called me in for a brief meeting. Before the meeting began, he showed me a bank statement with $39 million in cash and said, "And this is only in one bank. I am retired now because it is a full-time job to keep taking this cash out of my banks and moving it into more productive investments. I repeat, it is a full-time job that becomes more challenging every year." As the meeting ended, Rich Dad said, "I spent years training Mike to build the engine that produces this much money. Now that I am retired, he is running the engine that I built. The reason I can retire with confidence is because Mike knows not only how to run the engine, but how to fix it if it breaks." Most rich kids lose their parents' money because, although they grow up in extreme wealth, they never really learn how to build an engine or fix it after it is broken. In fact, too many rich kids are the very people who break the engine. They grow up on the rich side of the coin, but they never learn what it takes to get to that side. You have a chance, with my guidance, to make the transition and stay on the other side. A big part of taking control of myself was taking control of my internal reality about money. I have had to constantly remind myself that there is a world of too much money, because in my heart and soul, I have often felt like a poor person. One of the exercises Rich Dad had me do whenever I felt the surge of panic in my heart and stomach, the panic that comes from the fear of not having enough money, was to simply say, "There are two kinds of money problems. One problem is not enough money and the other is too much money. Which one do I want?" I would ask this question mentally even though my core being was in a state of financial panic. I am not one of these wishful thinking people or a person who believes solely in the power of affirmation. I asked myself that question to combat my inherited point of view on money. Once my gut was calmed down, I would then ask my mind to begin finding solutions to whatever was financially challenging me at the time. Solutions could mean seeking new answers, finding new advisors, or attending a class on a subject I was weak on. The main purpose for combating my core panic was to allow me to calm down so I could move forward again. I have noticed that most people let their panic about money defeat them and dictate the terms and conditions of their lives. Hence, they remain terrified about risk and money. As I wrote in Cash Flow Quadrant, people's emotions often run their lives. Emotions such as fear and doubt lead to low self-esteem and a lack of self-confidence. In the early 1990s, Donald Trump was nearly $1 billion in debt personally and $9 billion in debt corporately. An interviewer asked him if he was worried. He replied, "Worrying is a waste of time. Worrying gets in my way of working to solve these problems." I have noticed that one of the main reasons people are not rich is that they worry too much about things that might never happen. Rich Dad's investor lesson number 2 was to mentally choose to see both worlds: a world of not enough money and a world of too much money. Later, Rich Dad went into the importance of a financial plan. Rich Dad strongly believed in having a financial plan for when you did not have enough money as well as a financial plan for when you will have too much money. He said, "If you do not have a plan for having too much money, then you will lose all your money and go back to the only plan you know, which is what 90% of the population knows: a world of not enough money. Security and scarcity." Rich Dad said, "The more a person seeks security, the more scarcity they will have in their life. Security and scarcity go hand in hand. That is why people who seek job security or guarantees are often the people with less abundance in their life." One of the reasons the 90-by-10 rule of money holds true is that most people spend their lives seeking more security instead of seeking more financial skills. The more financial skills you have, the more abundance you will have in your life. It was these financial skills that gave Rich Dad the power to begin acquiring some of the most valuable real estate in Hawaii even though he had very little money. These same financial skills give people the power to take an opportunity and turn it into millions of dollars. Most people can see opportunities. They just cannot turn that opportunity into money. That is why they often seek even more security. Rich Dad also said, "The more a person seeks security, the less they can see of the opportunities that abound." They see only one side of the coin and never see the other side. That is why the more they seek security, the less opportunity they see on the flip side of the coin. As the great baseball player, Yogi Berra, once said, strike out just 7 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame. In other words, if he came to bat 1,000 times in his mental attitude quiz. I came from a family that saw the world as a world of not enough money. My personal challenge was to repeatedly remind myself that another kind of world existed, a world of too much money, and that I needed to keep an open mind to see a world of both possibilities for me. So the mental attitude questions are, 1. Can you see that 2 different worlds of money can exist, a world of not enough money and a world of too much money? Yes or no? 2. If you currently live in a world of not enough money, are you willing to see the possibility of your living in a world of too much money? Yes or no? Thank you for giving your valuable time for this video. We hope you learned something new today. Stay tuned for our next videos. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video to your friends. And turn on bell notification for our updates.